Hello, everyone. I'm G-Man. Look who's next to me. T-Money up from Cincinnati. Still got the gear on, though. Hey, welcome to the December 14, getting close to Christmas. Father, Son, and Holy Sport NFL show, baby. What's going on, T?
What's going on, G? Good to be up here in Columbus with you. Live show's always the best show, so let's get into this.
Well, I keep on to take this into a local establishment and do our show live. That'd be fun.
That would be.
Talk you into that for 2023. Hey, wait for it, team, man. I got the hat on. I didn't get my background because we're live, but look at, I got my Baker Mayfield taking the Rams out of our number one disappointment team into an upset win for the Rams and Baker. What do you think about that?
That was just a crazy game. Good for Baker Mayfield. There's just a feel-good story. Might have played his way back into the NFL. The guy was probably on his last leg and maybe out of the NFL for good. So it looks like the locker room likes him. The coach likes him. He might have a backup role for Matthew Stafford now. We'll see what happens going into next year.
And he's been announced as a starter Monday night. They play Monday night, so check him out, man. The Rams are still not mathematically eliminated. I gave you the pump up last week, Rams. I told you don't give up. And look what happened. Baker brings it home. They're 4-9. They still got a shot. They're tied with the Cardinals for NFC most disappointing team.
Yeah,
in our book here. Hey, we talked about the New York teams last week. Good one of the New York teams pulled the upset. That New York Jets, New York Giants have been the surprise of the year, those two teams, but they both lose. And now they're both in jeopardy of not making the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. They're New York teams. They're always going to get your hopes up and let you down. I'm not surprised here. The Bills barely beat the Jets. They played good defense. You can't crush them there. Mike White was just getting murdered. They couldn't protect him. So got to work on that moving forward.
White, man. Hey, we start Thursday night this week. Brock Purdy and the 49ers at Seattle. And then we got the triple header on Saturday. Capped off at the nightcap. Miami's at Buffalo. Do us a favor, y'all. Press that like and subscribe, man. We appreciate your support at Father, Son, and Holy Sport. Let's kick it off with the Ross Rundown for week 15, man. Let's cover some hot topics for your fantasy, for your betting, and just your viewing pleasure, man. T-Money, let's go to one of the leaders in the NFC. Are you worried about the Cowboys? They struggled against the Texans.
Yeah, because these guys just don't seem to bring their A game or even their B game consistently, right? And that's what's concerning going into the playoffs now. These guys have won 10 wins. And this should be an easy game. I get you can't get up for the worst team in the league sometimes, but bad interceptions that, you did make a goal line stand, which is great, but letting the Texans hang around when you're trying to fight for the 1 seed, that's scary right now. And so I just think, I don't know how to trust these guys moving into the playoffs, right? Like if everyone's on their A game in the playoffs and you bring your D game this consistently, how can I trust you moving forward?
Yeah, you talk about the consistency. They did it on the final drive. Dak goes 6 for 7 for 79 yards. Would have been 7 for 7. Michael Gallup couldn't hold on to the touchdown pass. It would have been a touchdown. 7 for 7 on the final drive, but they're not doing that throughout the whole game. So You're right. It's not consistent.
Yeah, bad decision-making by Dak and just letting the Texans hang around. Micah Parsons, who was all worldly in the beginning of the year, kind of has fallen off the past few weeks, and they didn't get 1 sack versus Davis Mills.
Yeah.
Or Davis Mills, the other quarterback. So, I mean, just that their defense has not shown up recently. And so,
yeah, that's amazing. The stats on the defense were so bad.
Yeah.
And we know some things about Dallas in December. Number one, they're going to make the playoff. We know they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
We know they can create some damage. But what we don't know and what we don't think will happen right now is, can they beat Philadelphia for the NFC championship? Right now, I think it's 2 teams in the NFC that can win this thing in the NFC, and that's Philly and the 49ers. I don't put Dallas in that group. I don't know if you do.
No, I don't. If their defense can't play like a top 5 to 10 defense like it was in the beginning of the year, I don't think that this team can compete at that level because their offense too inconsistent. Dak has just been throwing pick after pick this year since he's come back from his injury. And they give the ball too much to Zeke when Tony Pollard is clearly their best running back. So I just think they don't know what they're doing. And on top of that, Mike McCarthy's still their head coach. And so that's a disadvantage for whoever they're playing in the playoffs.
I know. I agree.
But let's move on to another struggling team here. The Dolphins are now on a 2-game losing streak. Is it time to panic about Tua right now?
Well, it's not just Tua, it's a whole offense. They're not running the ball well. They've had some games where they've run the ball well. They need that running game so that Tua can do play action. That's his number one thing is play action ball. So they're not getting that. They only had 17 points. They lose to the Chargers in a huge game that they needed to win. And they messed up, man. That's a big game they just lost. And now they got themselves against the wall. Tua completes 10 passes.
Yeah.
For 145 yards, but they were not effective running. I was looking at their running stats recently. When you look at their last set of games here, how many yards they ran? They got 92 yards against the Chargers. That was one of the better games. The game before that, they got 33 yards rushing, and then before that, 66 yards rushing. The last game they had over 100 was against Cleveland. They get 195 yards. Average 6 yards a carry.
Yeah.
They got to get the running game going to help out Tua.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And a little context here for that 92 yards that you had them rushing. Tyreek Hill picked up a fumble.
That didn't count toward that.
It didn't count towards rushing? Okay, well, maybe. But that's the part of this offense that I want to talk about is Tua threw for 145 yards, only completed 13 passes. I believe at one point he was like 1 for 13. And he had one big play, a 75-yard bomb to Tyreek Hill. And so you take that off, and then he had a horrible game. And I know the game plan now after doing some research and listening to what new defensive coordinators do. The 49ers 2 games ago decided we're not going to let them beat us off the line. Everyone was playing them deep, worried that they were going to beat them deep, which they're still going to. But now they're jamming them, throwing off their timing and not giving them the 10 and 12 and 20-yard slants and easy completions, which is all timing. Now Tua has to be really accurate with the ball because they're jamming Tyreek Hill, they're jamming Waddle, and he can't make those throws.
And Tyreek's doing a good job. You look at Tyreek's stats, they're doing good. He's been performing. Waddle has not. Waddle was on my DFS team last week and killed me. I lost out on a tournament because the Waddle was so cold. But Tyreek is doing it. He's still delivering. Tyreek wants to win this for them. He wants to face Kansas City in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's very excited about that. But they're going to miss the playoffs if they don't mess up, man. They got Buffalo coming up.
Yeah.
It's supposed to snow this weekend in Buffalo. It's a December football game in the snow, 30-mile-an-hour wind they're playing. They better be able to run the ball if they want to survive in December, and it starts this weekend, man.
Yeah, I totally agree. They had heaters on the sideline at SoFi Stadium in LA when it was 55 degrees nighttime in a covered stadium. So good luck in Buffalo this weekend, Miami.
The Bills average 31 points per home game. They're number 2 in the NFL. They're 7-3 against the spread in the last 10 games in December, while Miami's 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 road games. So the Bills, I don't know, man. They look pretty strong here in this, at least preparation for this game coming up. They look really strong. Hey, man, let's go back to the NFC. Let's talk about the 49ers. Are they now, we talked about them being one of the top 2 teams. Are they the team to beat in the NFC, or would you say it's Philly?
Clearly, it's the Niners. I don't think there is a debate with this. I really, really don't. Brock Purdy looks like a better version of Jimmy Garoppolo, which is still not saying a lot, but he's better. All right. This is the best defense in the league. The pressure that they put on you at all 3 levels, defensively with Bosa, their linebackers are elite, and their corners are playing great. Now they're getting healthy. They're bringing back Trent Williams, the best left tackle in football. They have Debo, hopefully back for the playoffs, one of the best wide receivers. Christian McCaffrey is on fire right now. I think the Panthers are regretting that one. And then you have George Kittle blocking and catching. This team is on a tear right now. And Brock Purdy, nice little stat for you to show you how much more dynamic this guy makes him. He did throw for 2 and ran for 1. Jimmy Garoppolo is not known as a runner, so already more dynamic there. And on top of that, the 2 touchdowns he threw, both were outside of the number touchdowns, which are very difficult over-the-shoulder throws. He's done that in 1 game. Jimmy Garoppolo did that 2 times in 3 years. Brock Purdy's already tied with him after one game.
Step up over
He is
Jimmy G.
a step up. He makes this team more dynamic.
I agree with you, and I think Philly's still the number one team, but I agree with you. Brock Purdy's the key. Brock Purdy is still not proven, so let's just pump the brakes, as Tyler Ross used to say. But it's really going to come down to 2 things. One, can Purdy really perform when it gets tough? Because it'll start this weekend at Seattle, where Seattle needs to win. Those fans are going to be crazy. Up in Seattle, and that rivalry. We'll see how Purdy does with those fans, with that pressure. Let's see if he can do it again. I like him too, but he has to perform on the road in that kind of environment. Show me what he can do there. The other thing is the health of the team. They're constantly getting people injured. Can they keep this team healthy, man? They're on their 3rd quarterback. Now Debo's hurt. The running backs have all been hurt. I mean, what are they going to do here? Why are they having all these issues? They got to keep this team healthy, and Brock Purdy's got to come through. Those, I think, are the 2 things. All
right. That's fair. That's fair. Brock Purdy is unproven for sure, but they've proven they can take a crappy quarterback to the Super Bowl by taking Jimmy Garoppolo.
They got a system.
So, I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo threw 9 passes and made a Super Bowl. So I'm not too concerned about Brock Purdy. Just don't turn the ball over, and this team will handle itself.
The Eagles did clinch the first NFL playoff spot last week. So they're the first one in. San Fran can clinch Thursday night with a win.
All right. All right. Well, I think they be a good battle with Seattle up there. All right. So we're going to jump over now to the Vikings, who were looking like one of the better NFC teams. Everyone was talking these guys up. They had won 10 games. They were going into Detroit, who's, kind of a laughing stock of the NFL these past few years. Well, the Vikings get crushed. Did they get exposed after this game?
I don't think they got exposed
as much. Frauds. How about that?
I don't think they got exposed as frauds as much as that the Lions are coming on. The Lions are playing well, and they beat them. Lions are a better team right now. But we just said that the top 2 teams in the NFC are the 49ers and the Eagles, and then you got Dallas and Minnesota kind of on the outside. Can those teams do it when the playoffs come? And we both have doubt about that. But they have certainly done well. When you look at the Vikings, the last 8 games, 6-2, and they've beaten the Dolphins, the Commanders, the Bills, and the Patriots, and the Jets. That's a pretty good slew of teams there. You can argue about how convincing they were, but they did win 6 of the last 8 and beat some great teams. They lost to the Cowboys, and now they lost to the Lions. So they got a solid team. They're missing a couple pieces. They could win a game because they're going to be at home in the playoffs to start. They'll win that division. So they'll have a home game, and then can they go on the road after that?
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting one. Can they win that home game to start? Brilliant people like me said they were going to win this division, but from the beginning, I did call that. But I think they are a little bit fraudulent. Their pass defense is horrible. When Jared Goff is carving you up, there's something wrong. All right, I like him. He's had a good year, but let's just pump the brakes on the Lions here. And I know it's a divisional game, but it's weird that a 10-win team goes into Detroit and Detroit was favored. So I think Vegas called them out as frauds, and they lived up to the hype.
Hey, defense, I agree with you, is an issue. They allowed over 400 yards now for the 5th consecutive week.
Yeah.
Their offense can probably play with teams, but their defense is now giving up a lot of points.
Yeah.
They're still a 2 seed. They could win out these final 4 games. These final 4 games, they're all winnable. Colts, Giants, Packers, Bears. They could win them all.
That is.
They played the Colts Saturday at 1. They're favored by 4. They got their favorite this time. Favored by 4 at home. So let's go Vikings. Come on, man.
All right.
Come on, man. Hey, let's go back to the AFC. Are you concerned, Team Money, with the Browns and Watson under center?
Yeah, he has just not been playing well. Timing's off. And I know he says, I haven't played in a while, but what have you been doing? Like, have you just been sitting on your couch and lifting? Like, you should be practicing with receivers, running routes. You should have had the playbook. Like, it seems like this offense is all out of whack right now. And so, yes, I'm concerned because this guy missed almost 2 years of football and also has off the field issues that probably are a little weird in the locker room, right? So not everyone in the locker room is taking him under their wing, putting an arm around him like, hey, we got this. We can come together. I don't know if Nick Chubb is like, I'll put the team on my back, even though he's putting the team on his back. I don't know how he feels about that. So I think there's a lot of issues going on here. And Deshaun not playing well could snowball. This is going to get really ugly if midway through next year he continues playing like this.
Yeah.
This can go bad quick.
I mean, you got that many lawsuits against you. You got to be distracted. I
Yeah.
mean, how much time has he spent on that? Defending himself, being in court. I mean, I know he's got a lawyer and everything, but that's got to take a lot of your mind share time. Plus people that are kind of don't support what happened and don't support him. And you're right. Some of the guys are probably in the locker room.
Yeah.
So that chemistry may not be there. And he's only completing 59% of his passes. So if he could pull out some stats and deliver some results on the field, he could probably start winning people over. But if he keeps playing bad, things could get worse. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, this is the first time the Browns have lost to Joe Burrow and the Bengals since he's been under center, and he's supposed to be the best quarterback they've had. Jacoby Brissett killed the Bengals earlier this year.
Yeah.
Looked like Deshaun Watson when he played with the Texans. So you just wonder, like, what the hell is going on with this team? And so Watson's got to get it together. That big of a contract. You're one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, and you have the most guaranteed money in league history for a quarterback, fully guaranteed contract. You got to live up to this, man. And you can't play mediocre. You can't even play top 10. You need to be a top 5 quarterback here. And he looks nothing like that right now.
And they brought Amari Cooper in for him. So Amari's there.
Yeah.
Amari's great player. So there's someone that is in his toolkit. The Browns host the Ravens in that Saturday middle game spot. There's a triple header. So the 4:30 slot is that Browns-Ravens games. Both teams having issues at QB. Who's going to come through there? Ravens probably starting their third string quarterback.
Yeah.
So here's a game where they're going to lean on that running game, man. Both teams are probably going to be running. They're two of the top in the league in rushing percentage.
Yeah.
When you look at rushing plays versus passing, they're in the top 10 in the NFL, both of them in rushing plays. So the over-under is the second lowest of the weekend, 38 points for this Browns-Ravens slow down game, baby.
Better win that, or everyone's going to be calling for Watson's head. But let's move on to the Bills here. All right, they get a win in division versus the Jets. Jets were on the up and up there. Are you sold now after this game as the Bills as contenders?
Well, yes, and I've been sold. I don't know why you're asking me that kind of question, because I've told you I'm behind the Bills. Now, what are my concerns? I have two concerns. Lack of a running game and the health of their quarterback, Josh Allen. Can he stay healthy? Because without him, they're not going to do it. They're out. So his elbow's been bothering him. Can he get back on track? He did pass for 147 yards last week. He did rush the ball, 47 rushing yards, 2 scores. Kind of got back on track. They're not, crazy. It's going to be snowing and crazy up there. He probably won't put up a lot of numbers, but really concerned about him more than anything.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to repeat back what you said to me. He threw for 147 yards. Supposed to be preseason MVP favorite. All right. And you're like, hey, he had a good game. 140. This guy's been nothing but a roller coaster these past 6 weeks since he's left the Chiefs. The Chiefs win that he had, their Super Bowl. He's the 28th rated quarterback QBR passer right now. All right. He's last statistically in a ton of categories, except for one, which is turnovers, which he's first in since that game. He has not been playing well. Yeah. And I know that this team has immense upside, but just like the Cowboys, unless you start bringing your A game more consistently, like you were in the first 6 games of the season, how am I supposed to trust you come playoff time?
Yeah.
And that's when the big boys, the Bengals and the Chiefs, who are proven winners and gotten to the Super Bowl, perform in the clutch. And let's see what they can do. So I think they're a contender, but in the sense that there's clearly a 1 and 2, and then they're the next level. Bengals, Chiefs are
No,
clearly
no, they're
better.
I think it's the three of them. I think it's the three of them
No,
that have a realistic shot at that AFC title.
you got to perform more consistently.
Their defense is playing well.
Their defense played phenomenal. That looked like an elite defense.
And you talk about the snow and the December and the wind. You imagine coming up to Buffalo and playing in that stuff. They got a big edge up there.
They better get the 1 seed.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, right now they are the 1 seed.
Chiefs probably won't lose again.
Well, all right. Buffalo has to win out here to keep that 1 seed probably, but they have it right now. And they're not going to lose this weekend.
Yeah.
I can tell you that right now. Buffalo allows only 14 points per game, number 2 in the NFL, and a red zone scoring percentage. There's your offense. 30% red zone scoring percentage at home this year.
All right.
There you go, man. They're going to be tough to beat in Buffalo in the playoffs. Hey, Bills host the Dolphins Saturday night. They're favored by 7. I think the Bills cover here. Dolphins in the snow with a beleaguered running game? No way, man. Oh, hey, wait. Did I hear Randy? I did hear Randy. He's over there. Randy, hey, bring us this week's Chug and Chant, man.
Hey, welcome into this week's Chug and Chant. It's Cousin Randy here, and I got a high noon because I'm high on you. That's right. I got someone from Florida that I'm high on, and I got to talk about it. Let me get this chug in, and then let's chant. All right. Jacksonville Jaguars, they're here to stay. Hey, they might not make the playoffs this year. I don't care. But these guys are here to stay. Doug Peterson's got these guys wanting to fight for life. One guy just said he died for Doug Peterson. All right, they want to go to battle for them. And Trevor Lawrence has been unstoppable. Yeah, they might not be winning all their games, but this guy's got the second best QBR since like week 6. He's been killing it. All right, one of the top quarterbacks in this league, and he's proven a point. And his best wide receivers, who? Christian Kirk. Travis Etienne's not doing anything. They're winning games. They're crushing the Titans, who've always had their number. I think this is a tide switching in the division, a little baton handoff. This Jags division moving forward, okay? They've won 2 out of their last 4, but one was against Kansas City, so cut them some slack. They beat Baltimore and Tennessee. I mean, that's a good little run they're on right now. And I love Trevor Lawrence. I love this young roster. I love Doug Peterson, a Super Bowl caliber head coach. These Jags are here to stay, baby, just like Randy is here to stay drinking all day. G-Man, T-Money, what do you think? Jags, a new dynasty in town?
Hey, Randy! Mixes it up with a high noon chug. I mean, I haven't seen a high noon chug yet from Randy.
I don't think so. I don't think
he got rid of the Bud Light, did a high noon.
Yeah, he must be high on someone.
The tide is switching in the division. That is an interesting point there by Randy. The Jacksonville taking over the division. Man, I don't know, man. It's hard to bet against the Titans.
Yeah.
Right now, I still think Titans are the leader in that division. They're going to win the division. I know they're not mathematically over yet. But I still think Titans are the cream of the crop in that division.
Maybe this year, but my concern for the Titans is what happens when Derrick Henry declines 10%? When instead of getting 140 rushing yards a game, he's getting 80 rushing yards a game.
That's more than 10%.
Okay, that's more than 10%. But you know what I mean? I went from elite to average. He's averaging like 90-something yards a game. He just drops down a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. And Ryan Tannehill is going to continue to regress. He's not on the up and up. I just think, where does that team go when you lose maybe one of the best running backs of all time in the NFL? The Jaguars have an okay skill position group. I like ETN, but he's not performed the past few weeks, and they're fine. Their best receiver is Christian Kirk, like Randy said. I do like the direction they're headed. I agree with you. The Titans are the team to beat because I think Vrabel's a phenomenal coach.
Yeah, that's going to be hard.
But Doug Peterson's proven that he can win a Super Bowl. So
it's great.
I think that there's clearly 2 teams because the Colts are headed in the wrong direction now. And the Texans, who cares? But I don't like the Jags right now.
And going back to Trevor, age 23 and younger quarterbacks that have joined the NFL, you look at adjusted net yards per attempt, which is a key advanced metric. Adjusted net yards per attempt take into account not only total yards, but it takes into account touchdowns and interceptions. And if you look at all time in the NFL, age 23 and younger, the highest rating, Trevor Lawrence is now number 17.
Okay.
So there, as for quarterbacks that end up with this rating when they're this young. If you look at the list, almost all of them have been, top pro careers.
Okay.
So a very good sign for Trevor Lawrence, rating so high in this average net yards per attempt score. So
Yeah.
it says his future's bright, is what that says.
Trevor's headed in the right direction for sure.
Yeah. Best outing of the year, 368 passing yards, 3 touchdowns for Trevor. Since week 9, he's the second highest graded quarterback in the NFL. Only quarterback ahead of him, Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, baby. Watch out for Cincinnati coming back up. T-Money's got all the gear on.
Headed to the right direction. But yeah, no, I like this team. The Cowboys is going to be a real shot this weekend. Let's see versus a solid team how you perform now that you're headed in the right direction.
And I'll say one other thing to Cousin Randy before we go on to our next big bet segment of the show, Randy. I'll tell you what, Trevor's still not number 1 in his class. Mac Jones is still
God.
the top results. I'm talking results. He made the Pro Bowl. Okay,
I think
he started for his team.
I think there was 5 guys that got hurt and didn't go.
When you look at results, it's still Mac Jones in that draft class that has done the most in the NFL. I knew you'd go crazy over that. I did that for Team Money.
Oh my God, I can't believe he just said that.
And Jacksonville gets a chance, man, to keep that mathematical chance alive this Sunday at 1. They're getting 5 points. 5-point dog against the Cowboys. There's their chance. Trevor, come on, man. You show me that I'm wrong, Trevor. Take down the Cowboys, man, and we'll be talking next week. Hey, Team Money, let's shift gears here, go to our big bets segment of the show. We're going to give you our best picks of the week, everybody. You know you love this part of the show, and we got 2 picks for you here. One is going to be our lock of the week, and our other is going to be our dog lock, a dog we think that can win the game. Team Money, let's go to you first. Who do you like for your lock of the week?
My lock of the week here. Bengals -3.5 versus the Bucks. I feel like this is a hot one right now. Everyone's talking about it, but look, I don't think anyone other than Tom Brady would be getting this line if they were the QB for the Bucks. I think this is purely because of Tom Brady. This team has been atrocious. They scored 7 points last week. This Bengals defense is legit. All right.
Yeah.
They are one of the better teams defensively right now, and especially versus QBs. So I like the Bengals to win this one. The Bucks offensively have just been struggling too much, and the Bengals are getting healthier and healthier. Mixon's coming back. Jamar Chase is back, another healthy week. They're only headed in the right direction right now. And so I just think with the Bucks regressing, Bengals getting healthier, I see this one with another tough defense for the Bucks. The Bengals can run away with this one potentially.
I like that pick. Certainly momentum on the Bengals side. They should be able to cover that. I'm going back to the game we've been talking about, and that's Highmark Stadium, Orchard Park, New York, where the Bills will be hosting the Dolphins in snow weather, 30-mile-an-hour winds. Do you know the Tua is 0-3 when the temperature is 45 degrees or lower? He's only been 3 times in 45 degrees or lower weather. Only 3 times has he played that cold.
Yeah.
He's 0-3.
Oh, yeah. He's in trouble.
This is a big advantage for the Bills. I gave you some of the stats on the Bills earlier, so I won't belabor you with that, but they've got all the stats here leading their way. The Bills have won 7 straight games against the Dolphins. Prior to week 2, I anticipate them to get back on track again. Miami's 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 away games. Buffalo's 7-1 straight up against Miami in the last 8 games. Give me the Bills at home. Favored by 7.5, man. I got to hook.
It's a big one.
Over the Dolphins in the snow for my lock play of the week.
I like it. As long as the snow doesn't deter the Bills from putting up points, I think this is a good bet. My dog lock of the week here is the Cardinals -2.5 or +2.5. Sorry.
Whoa, going Cardinals.
Versus the Broncos. This is a spicy little pick here.
Lowest over under of the weekend.
I know, but the Broncos are horrible. Russell Wilson cannot score. The only reason they were in that game versus the Chiefs is Mahomes threw 3 picks, okay? They were in scoring position. This team is atrocious. Their offense is worse than that. Cortland Sutton's probably still out, their best receiver. I do not trust them to do anything. Now, the Broncos' defense is phenomenal, but the difference is the Cardinals are going to win this outright. 13-10 probably.
Yeah, it's going to be.
It's going to be a horrible game to watch. But they're going to feed James Conner. All right? That's what the Cardinals are going to do. They're going to slow this game down, win it out. The Broncos scored 9 points versus the Ravens a few weeks ago in a game they should have easily won. This team is allowing only 17 points per game defensively, but I just think the Cardinals, Colt McCoy is maybe one of the best backups in the league and has proven he can win with this Cardinals team earlier in the year. So I like this Cardinals team. He's not going to come in and miss a beat. And so I like the Cardinals to win this one versus the Broncos at Mile High Stadium.
Okay, man. Going for that low scoring affair, man. See if you can eke it out there. I'm going to SoFi Stadium where the NFL Network always is projecting their pregame shows. Going to the Chargers, hosting Tennessee. I'm going with the Titans, man. We've talked about Tennessee being the leader in that division. Come on, Tennessee, man. Don't let me down here. I'm getting 3 points. You're giving me Tennessee and 3. Going in to play San Diego. Both teams are 7-6. They both have to win this game or they're probably out. So the winner of this game is in good shape. The loser is not good. So I'm counting the Titans here to turn it around. They've lost 3 in a row. They got to get it together. The Chargers have the worst rushing defense in the NFL. They're allowing 5 yards per carry. I think Derrick Henry, man, he's going to do it. He's going to run. And also, I think they're going to throw the ball. I think Tannehill is going to have success against that defense.
Yeah.
Chargers can win. They can win the game, but I'm taking the 3 points. Give me the Titans on the road versus the Chargers. Doglock pick of the week.
All right. I like it. Yeah, that Titans defense is banged up. So that's a good choice. Now let's go over to G-Man's player prop of the week.
Oh, okay.
What you got for us, G?
Well, last week I gave you Derrick Henry to go over 100 yards. What's he do? 121 and a touchdown. Derrick Henry. I also told you Tom Brady over on passing attempts. He threw 55 times, man. I told you all to take that.
He did.
This week. Ryan Tannehill over 200 passing yards and over 1.5 touchdowns. Looked up the props this morning. It's Wednesday, so things can change, man. But hey, man, right now, over 200 passing yards for Ryan Tannehill, over 1.5 touchdowns. He's posted at least 250 or 2 scores in 4 of his last 5 games.
Wow.
I think they'll have to score to stay with the Chargers, don't you? They're going to have to score.
Yeah.
If they're going to win this game. So I'm saying go with the Chargers. They're the 5th most passing touchdowns allowed in the NFL. So let's go with Tannehill here, man, and the player prop.
I like it. All right, G-Man.
And let's go on to fantasy, my man, okay? All you fantasy managers, you still in the playoffs? Are you still alive in your playoffs? Because we're going to give you some advice here to help you. Of course, there's nobody on bye. We got our full arsenal for our teams, but there are some injuries. So let's see if we can help you out with some picks. T-Money got some analysis for you as we go through, starting off with our hot and cold. T-Money is going to give you the players you should not start. Are they going to break your heart? G-Man going to give you the players you should start that might be on your bench. I'm going to start it off, T-Money. Last week, I gave you Kirk Cousins, man. Kirk Cousins, QB5 in the NFL with 25 fantasy points last week. Came through for you this week. I'm going to Mike White of the Jets. It wasn't right, but Mike White earned some respect in that locker room this last week. He passed for 270, did not commit a turnover versus the Bills. Tough game there. This week, if he starts, because he has an injury, but the word is at this point, he's going to start at this point of the week. He's facing the Lions. Last in the NFL in fantasy points for opposing quarterbacks. If you're playing DFS, White's only $5,400 on DraftKings. So the Warrior Mike White is a start. My upside quarterback hot pick of the week, T-Money.
All right. My cold QB of the week is Mr. Tom Brady. All right, projected 16.4 versus the Bengals. The Bengals, 7th best defense in the league fantasy-wise versus QBs. All right. The big thing with this is his ceiling. There is no major upside, okay? In his last 8 games, Tom Brady's been over 17.2 one time, and that was 18.4. All right? This is his ceiling, and that's not what you want when going for a guy. Not only is he most likely not going to hit 16.4 as projection, if he has a good game, he's going to get 17.4. So this is not a guy you want to start. There's no upside right now with Tom Brady and his Bucs offense. He's my cold QB of the week.
Okay, you're probably right, but I hope he turns it around. Hey, last week for the running back, we gave you Zeke Elliott. He delivered 17 fantasy points. He was a top 10 running back for the week. At running back this week, we're going Najee Harris, man.
All right.
Versus Carolina. Najee carried the ball 12 times for 33 yards and a touchdown while adding 17 yards on receptions against the Ravens last week. He now has 5 rushing touchdowns and 7 total scores through 13 games. He should be able to continue double-digit fantasy production this week against mediocre Panthers run defense. If you're playing DFS, he's only going for 5,700 on DraftKings. Great value there. Najee's a start. My upside running back hot pick of the week, Team Money.
All right. I like hearing that. I got him in a lot of leagues. So here we go. My cold running back of the week here is Aaron Jones. All right. Aaron Jones, 15.4 versus the Rams. Now, I think Aaron Jones is probably going to get double digits here, so he might be a solid flex play for you, but I think he's a little too expensive in DFS, and be careful starting him in your playoffs and expecting a huge game out of him because the Rams are newly motivated with Baker. All right. This team has got a new life. And Jones has only been over 15 points once in the last 3 games. And the Rams are 9th best in the league in fantasy versus running backs. So still a very, very good defense versus running backs here. And if Aaron Donald and them boys are healthy, I think Aaron Donald might be back this week. If he is, that big run stopper in the center and that good defense with the new motivated Baker and team, I like Aaron Jones as the cold running back of the week.
All right. Come on, Rams. Keep it going. Keep it going. Hey, let's go to the wide receivers for the hot pick. I'm going with Michael Pittman Jr. against Minnesota. Pittman had a terrible week. You probably say, well, yeah, Pittman, sure. Yeah, but he had a terrible week with only 4 fantasy points. That's why I'm giving you this pick. Don't lose heart. Get Michael Pittman back in there. Brush him off. He got hurt. Get him back in there. It's going to change this week. We know what Pittman's capable of doing. Prior to last week, he had 12, 14, and 19 fantasy points. Okay. He gets back on track against the Vikings. He's a great buy, $5,800 on DraftKings. So not even over 6,000. Michael Pittman's a start, my upside wide receiver. Hot pick of the week.
All right. All right. We'll see that indie group. You never know what you're doing with Matt, Ryan, and them. Our cold receivers, of the week, DeAndre Hopkins. All right, projected 14.4 versus Denver. This is just going to be a low-scoring game.
I thought you liked Arizona.
I like Arizona to win this game in like 13-10, right? So he might get a touchdown, but he might only get 3 catches.
Yeah.
All right, they're one of the best defenses in the league, allowing 17 points per game. On top of that, they're the second best in fantasy versus wide receivers. All right. Last week without Kyler, which obviously Kyler's out again this week with torn ACL out for the season. He only had 12.9, right? And so I think that this is going to be, he's probably going to get 9, 10, 11, but nothing big here. So especially on DFS, stay away from him.
Okay, good. Good analysis there, T-Money. I'll give you my lineup now for DFS, wrapping all this together. And last week, I came in 3rd. I could have won money in 2nd. Because Waddle let me down. So I need somebody to come through for me, man. Waddle's not my lineup, but I got someone in my lineup who was hot last week. Garrett Wilson is in at wide receiver. Also at wide receiver, I got Pittman and also got Mike Williams for the Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to score some points and Mike's back. Let's go to the quarterback. I got Tannehill, as I mentioned, at quarterback, along with Derrick Henry at the running back. And Najee Harris alongside him. Tight end, I like Dalton Schultz against those Jags to get some points. Christian Watson's hot. A lot of upside there on my flex. And then the Bills defense in that snow. So there's my lineup for DFS.
All right.
Hopefully a little tournament there.
I like it.
Hey, let's go to Take a Mistake, man. This is a surprise, T-Money. He doesn't know. Don't be looking at my schedule here, man. I got the picks for you. T-Money is going to tell us whether we should take the bait on someone that's hot or that would be a mistake. And we're going to start off with someone I know he likes. Quarterback Brock Purdy from San Francisco. Purdy is Purdy, T-Money. And Purdy, the last pick in the NFL draft this past May, beats Tom Brady and the Bucs, as we know, going 16 of 21 for 185, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He also ran for a touchdown. Can fantasy managers that have to win in their playoffs, T-Money. Count on Purdy to continue to get better and deliver an even bigger game in week 15. T-Money, is Brock Purdy a take this week as a start facing a Seattle team that's mediocre against opposing fantasy quarterbacks, or would that be a mistake?
I think that's a decent take if you have someone like Kyler Murray or Tom Brady, right? I think Purdy's going to get 16 points with a little higher upside if he can run one in. I think he's going to be solid. So if you're looking for someone with someone hurt right now, like Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, etc., I think he's a good option, right? I wouldn't want to start Colt McCoy or Tyler Huntley, Mitchell Trubisky, or Kenny Pickett or any of those guys. I like Purdy as an option there.
Look at that. Confidence in Purdy right there after that one game showing.
2 games.
2 game showing. Here, let's go to running back guy. Speaking of a couple of big games, Jerick McKinnon from Kansas City. McKinnon carried the ball 6 times for 22 yards, caught 7 of 9 targets for 112 and 2 touchdowns over the Broncos. Can fantasy managers count on McKinnon to produce again in week 15 in their playoffs against the Texans defense that just gave up 143 combined yards and 3 touchdowns to the Cowboys duo? T-Money, is McKinnon a take this week to start against those Texans, or would that be a mistake?
I would not start him. I would think that's a mistake.
Okay.
Hard to start anyone on the Chiefs offense that is not named Travis Kelce, purely because you don't know where the ball's going, where the game script goes. Isaiah Pacheco still their starting running back, still a solid option coming out of that backfield. They might just run the ball down the Texans' throat. They have a really good run game, actually. And so that might be the end of the day, right? And it just kind of depends day to day what the matchups are giving them. And so I don't trust anyone other than Travis Kelce to be a consistent performer, especially in the playoffs. He could get you 0 and not play at all, or he could get you the big game he had last week. So I would not start him.
That 0 would really hurt. That 0 is hurt. So good advice there, T-Money. Lower that risk. Let's go to the last one, T-Money, wide receiver, Jerry Jeudy from Denver. Jeudy broke loose for 8 catches for 73 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Chiefs in week 14. Can fantasy managers fighting in the playoffs count on Jeudy to deliver again after he had his best game of the season at home versus the Cardinals? T-Money, is Jerry Jeudy a take this week as a must-start wide receiver, or would that be a mistake?
Push. I don't know the answer to this because Cortland Sutton might be out. He might be the only option, but at the same time, do you really trust Russell Wilson? Do you want to do that? If I had a guy like Christian Watson on my bench, I'd be starting him easily over him. There's a lot of guys. Zay Jones, I would probably start over him. There's a lot of guys that like you wouldn't think to start over someone that's as talented as Jerry Jeudy, but
yeah.
There's not a lot of scores to go around in this offense, okay? The Chiefs turned the ball over a ton. The defense was super leaky. This team with Russell Wilson before this has not been performing, so I would not trust them to score a lot. And on top of that, I don't trust the Broncos offense to be sufficient enough. So I would think that there's other guys that I would trust just a little more than anyone on the Broncos offense.
Okay, well, great advice as always, T-Money. We hope you all enjoyed the show and got some great tips from us. Big week coming up here. We got the triple header on Saturday, the game Sunday, Monday. It's going to be more football for y'all. Good luck in your fantasy playoffs. Good luck in your bets. T-Money and I wish you well. On behalf of T-Money, I'm G-Man. Have a great week.
All right, peace.